Hi, this is Mike, and I'm coming back at you on YouTube on Friday, August 16th, 2024, with the New York Notary Public Refresher Training newsletter. And for those of you that are seeing this in the actual newsletter, you're seeing this on Monday. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, there's no cost. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this video, so stick around. So today's topic is an exam topic and something that's useful for people that are existing notaries to know, and hopefully you'll find this a little entertaining as well. Can a person who does not reside in New York State be licensed legally as a New York State notary public? Okay, so this is taken out of the New York Notary License Law, the current edition, and it's out of state residence is the topic. And it goes like this. Attorneys residing out of state who are admitted to practice in the state and who maintain a law office within the state are deemed to be residents of the county where the office is maintained. Non-residents, other than attorneys, who have offices or places of business in New York State may also become notaries. So I'm just using this current event to give an example of this. This is the way I like to teach. I like to do current events in the news because it helps our students remember the answers when they get to the exam day. And some of them say they even laugh while they're taking the exam when they remember it. So in this case, I'm showing an attorney of New York State, which is Letitia James. And she happens to be the Honorable Letitia James, Attorney General, the top lawyer of New York State. And I'm showing Donald Trump, okay, who actually lives in Florida, in Mar-a-Lago, and Letitia James actually has a house in Virginia, and she also is from Brooklyn. So in this case, Letitia James is a New York licensed attorney that owns a home in Virginia. So if she was living in her Virginia residence, she has a New York business address, and I know she hails from Brooklyn, and she has a business address in New York State, in the Southern District of New York State. Donald Trump lives in Palm Beach, Florida, and has a business address in New York, Trump Towers. Both are therefore qualified to be New York State notaries public. And in these examples, presuming Trump wasn't living in his New York residence because he has one, I guess he still has one, and Letitia James definitely lives in New York, but she has a Virginia. So we're presuming that they both live in another state for this teaching example, which is possible. Okay, so they're both qualified to be notaries. Now, notice it said here if they maintain a law office within the state, they're deemed to be residents of the county where the office is maintained. So it gets a little confusing on the exam because you're required to be a resident of New York State to be a notary public in New York State. But they expand upon our traditional definition of what a resident is. Okay, so the oath of office and signature of the notary who resides in another state and who works somewhere in New York State must be filed in the office of the county clerk of the county in which the person's office or place of business is located. Now, P.O. boxes are not allowed, and I get this question quite often, almost on a weekly basis, when people call in for information about getting licensed. So the address must be a physical address, and I like to joke, so people remember this, where they could come and get you. So they ask also for the business tax ID as well when you use a business address to qualify as an out-of-state resident. Okay, so they're not necessarily going to haul you off to jail, but that's one of the reasons. They would have to be able to come find you. A lot of people call me and they want to like set up a P.O. box and get licensed in New York when they're from another state, and that's not it. Okay, so this is a New York Notary Exam question alert. What is a non-resident resident? So first of all, a non-resident resident is an oxymoron, all right? And that's an English definition of two words that oppose each other, and that confuses people on the exam. And here's some examples of terribly good oxymorons. Virtual reality, seriously funny, jumbo shrimp, a small crowd, and old news. And a non-resident resident, which is our exam answer. They could ask you, what is a non-resident resident, A, B, C, or D, on the exam. Okay, so the answer is you are required to be a resident of New York State to qualify for the notary public license. You do not, however, have to live in New York State to qualify as a resident. You can live in another state and work in New York State as a qualified resident. So a non-resident resident is a qualified resident. So there, you wouldn't get confused on the exam. Okay, so that means we're in New York right now, and you have to have a residence in New York State, right here where this arrow is. This is where we are. Now, anybody from any state in the U.S., including Alaska and Hawaii, technically can be a New York State notary public. Perhaps they commute to their job in New York State, maybe 1 week out of the month, or maybe they live in Hawaii 1 week out of the month and commute to New York. All right, either way, you can be a notary from any state where you live in the United States and be qualified as a notary in New York State. Now, typically, it's most common, it's the bordering states where you're going to see this with people where you work. For example, people from Vermont cross over, they're pretty close to Albany, right? So they might be a notary up in Albany in the upper northern counties. And you've got Massachusetts bordering New York and Connecticut. And Pennsylvania is big part of our border. Now over here on top of New York, that's Canada, so that wouldn't qualify because you can't have a residence in another country and be a New York notary. All right, that's not it. Okay, so also quite interesting here. I put a star here. It's not a state. I get a lot of people that are calling me from Washington D.C. I see on the caller ID. And they also work in New York, so they're going to do that commuting thing, right? Maybe they're here in Washington D.C. doing what they do there, and then they might be in New York City in a nonprofit NGO, non-government organization, right? A lot of that's going on back and forth from Washington D.C., which kind of funny. Washington D.C. is not a state. It's situated between Virginia and Maryland, and it's only 10 square miles, and it's not a state. All right, so people from Washington D.C. can also be New York State notary publics as long as they have a place of business in New York. Okay, so I hope you found that interesting. So as usual, I want everybody to know that's looking at this, we have 12 exam locations, and thank goodness they finally are publishing the exams out through October. We don't know how long that's going to last because we have this new monkey thing coming out. It's kind of getting hyped up in the news now, and they might close it back down. Up until recently, they were only issuing a few months in advance. Right now, we hope it stays this way. So we've got Albany, Binghamton, Buffalo, Franklin Square, Hauppauge, New York City, Plattsburgh, Pomona, and then Rochester, then 2 Syracuse locations. In Onondaga County, we have the Hughes State Office Building and the APWU Union Hall. I guess Syracuse is huge. And Utica. So those are the current test locations. You can take it anywhere you want. And as usual, we'd like you to visit our website, www.howtobecomeanotary.ny.com, or call me, Mike, anytime with any questions, whether you're licensed or not, 347-427-9091, extension 1. You'll find that they're very busy up in Albany, and they don't have a lot of opportunity to answer the calls all the time, so I'm more than glad to answer. Never give legal advice, just quote the statutes for you and tell you what the procedures are. And if you're a licensed notary, we like you to take a look at our 8x11 notary license wall display. And so that does not have an expiration date on it. It's got a wooden frame on it, and we have black and brown ones right now. We have the journal, which is now required. If you're an existing notary in New York State or you're in the process of getting licensed, you must find and purchase a professional notary records logbook. You must log everything you do now. That's pretty new in the law. And our exam preparation is New York Notary online classes right now. We're not doing live right now. Not enough people are coming out for live classes. I guess they're still a little worried about the news and being in a room together. Even though I love teaching live classes right now, they're still on hold because we need enough people to come and pay for the overhead on that. Our online class is the live class recorded, so it's actually better. I actually built New York Notary online classes to supplement live notary classes over 14 years ago. Of course, they're updated continually because it's better for two reasons than a live class. In a live class, you can daydream, you can go to sleep, your phone can ring from the office, you can go to the bathroom, and you're going to miss something, and it's all one speed for everybody. Everybody learns at a different rate. With the online class, we broke this live class into 5 recorded sessions, and you can play them and replay them and pause them as much as you want for up to 8 months. Of course, I have people that do it all in one day and take the exam the next day. It's up to you how fast you want to go. The second reason online classes are better is that we have the best, in my opinion, the best testing software that's interactive and kind of gamified and fun, where it teaches you and reviews all of your answers right and wrong so that you're going to be assured of critical thinking to answer the question any way they are on the state exam. And it tells you when you're ready for the state exam. Now, for those of you that are renewing, please support us by coming out and buying notary supplies. Read our testimonials. We have hundreds of them, of real people of average intelligence that pass this exam, and less than 1% of them report failing the exam the first time they take it. And a lot of them finish that state exam in 15 or 20 minutes. Notary exam schedules. Also, we have the remote online Notary Ron, where we're going to go over software and get you guys a discount. If you want to upgrade your traditional notary license, of course, you have to have the traditional notary license before you can be a remote online notary or Ron. And the advantages to Ron are you can notarize not only for New York State, but for every state in the country once you're an online notary, and even for foreign countries, as long as what you're notarizing has something to do with being filed in the United States. And you can charge $25 per signature. So a lot of people do the remote online notary as a gig, an extra sideline income, and they sign up with websites that promote that kind of thing and send you work, or you can do your own website. I'm going to be coming out with a course here very soon that shows you how to get internet real estate and do your own side notary gig as well. So keep in touch, watch these videos, and be in touch with me, and we'll go ahead and make that happen for you guys. Okay, so we'll see you on the inside very soon. As usual, I want to thank you for visiting howtobecome-a-notary-in-ny.com and for giving me your valuable time today. We appreciate all of you for spending your time with us. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe if you have a Google email address. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.